Zimmad lost. When the Principality of Zion sought to integrate mobile suits to their army, the MS-05 Zaku-1 was chosen over Zimmad's EMS-04 Zuda. By all accounts, Zimmad should have won the competition. The Zuda massively outperformed the Zaku, particularly in speed. Unfortunately, it couldn't sustain that speed without catastrophic failure. This fatal flaw severely damaged Zimmad's reputation. From that failure until the early months of the One-Year War, Zimmad seemed absent from major mobile suit developments. That changed when Zeon forces reached Earth. After securing key footholds on the planet, Zeon High Command issued tenders for an amphibious mobile suit to support aquatic operations in Earth's oceans. The same three companies, Zeonic, Zimmad, and MIP, competed for the contract. Determined to restore its reputation, Zimmad devoted all available resources to the project, and its efforts paid off. It won the contract over Zeonic. However, this victory was minor in the grand scheme of the war, as amphibious mobile suits remained a niche category. But that is a story for another day. Zimmad's true redemption came midway through the war. When the Earth Federation's GIMs appeared on the battlefield, on a technical scale, they outperformed the Zaku in direct combat. In response, Zeon High Command issued tenders for a next-generation mobile suit built specifically for mobile suit warfare. Once again, there was a showdown between Zeonic and Zimmad, a showdown that Zimmad would ultimately win. At this stage of the war, Zeon was beginning to standardize its industrial base. Zeonic had already completed the YMS-07A prototype Goof, which demonstrated significant performance improvements over the Zaku. However, Zeon High Command did not immediately accept Zeonic's design. Instead, they wanted to see what Zimmad could offer, perhaps recalling how the Zuda had once outperformed the Zaku, and hoping that Zimmad had finally resolved its fatal flaw. To support Zimmad's development efforts, Zeon ordered Zeonic to transfer several mobile suits to them. At least 5 Zaku 2s were handed over, leading to the creation of the High Mobility Test Type. This prototype featured stronger yet lighter armor designed for multiple short bursts of movement. Zimmad envisioned the suit excelling in mobility and guerrilla warfare. To achieve this, they equipped it with a new engine, possibly an early version of the Saturn engine, and installed larger radiators to improve cooling during high-speed maneuvers. Unfortunately, the suit failed to perform as intended. It struggled with its intended jumping capability, and its overall performance was on par with the Zaku 2 ground type, the very suit it was meant to replace. Unwilling to risk another public failure, Zimmad's senior management cancelled the project. Zeon reclaimed the suits and returned them to Zeonic, which used them to refine its own prototype, ultimately leading to the development of the MS-07 Goof. But this was not the end for Zimmad. Whether due to internal lobbying or the presence of Zimmad loyalists within Zeon High Command, the company was given another chance to submit a design. As before, Zeon ordered Zeonic to donate mobile suits to Zimmad, though this time, only a single Goof was provided. Recognizing this as its final opportunity for redemption, Zimmad mobilized its entire engineering team for one last push. The result was the MS-07C5 Goof test prototype, a platform designed to trial new technologies for Zimmad's upcoming mobile suit. The prototype featured a redesigned head that allowed it to look upward without tilting, and also was given stronger sensors, enhancing situational awareness. Seeking greater versatility, Zimmad removed the Goof's built-in weapons such as the heat rod and finger guns, and replaced them with modular systems, including a new heat saber and a Sturmfaust. This change allowed the arms to use standard manipulators, making maintenance and repair significantly easier. A major indication of Zimmad's design philosophy was the replacement of the backpack thrusters with their own engine, and additional thrusters on the legs. After extensive testing, Zimmad consolidated all of its findings to one final project. The culmination of these efforts was its magnus opus, the YMS-09 prototype Dom. This suit bore little resemblance to its Goof predecessor. It was equipped with Zimmad's advanced Saturn engine, which produced 1,269 kilowatts of power, allowing it to hover and reach unprecedented speeds. On flat terrain, the Dom achieved an astounding 381 kilometers per hour. Initially, Zimmad had experimented with conventional hovercraft propulsion, but this system overburdened the leg joints and slowed the mobile suit down. The Saturn engine not only improved the speed, but also increased the mobile suit's maximum weight capacity, enabling it to carry more armor than any current battlefield unit. To complement the Dom's performance, Zimmad developed a new weapon system, the 360mm giant bazooka. This weapon featured a 10-round magazine, with each rocket carrying enough firepower to destroy an enemy suit in a single hit. Zimmad produced 2 prototypes and sent them to California base for final testing. Both units underwent intensive trials, and the result left Zeon High Command ecstatic. Their gamble on Zimmad had paid off. The Dom outclassed the Goof in every critical aspect. It was faster, better armored, and capable of carrying heavier and more powerful weaponry. Even more importantly, it was more cost efficient than the Goof, delivering superior performance at a lower production cost. The 2 prototypes were then separated. One was put into service at Odessa, while the other one was used for further development. With that, the Dom was selected for mass production, and full-scale manufacturing began immediately. Zimmad had done it. They had finally beaten Zionic. They had finally won. Now, same with the Zaku 2, this is where the Dom splits up into many different variants. And just like before, I'm just gonna go through the standard ones. The Dom, the Rig Dom, and the Rig Dom Zui. The rest will get their own videos. With orders now being placed for the Dom, Zimmad conducted a final review to streamline the suit for mass production. The head unit was redesigned once again, this time securing it more firmly to the torso. While this reduced neck mobility, it was done to protect the power pipes and minimize the risk of a trap shot. Designers determined that the trade-off was acceptable due to the larger eye rails, which provided an expanded field of view. The torso also underwent significant modifications. The chest armor was thickened to enhance cockpit protection, while the lower armor layout was reworked to safeguard the numerous thrusters on the legs and waist. Thick armor skirts were added to shield these vulnerable components from damage. Zimmad also decided to incorporate an internal weapon, a scatter beam cannon mounted on the left side of the torso. Engineers likely saw this as an opportunity to make use of the excess power generated by the Saturn engine, while also testing their beam technology. Although called a cannon, the weapon functioned more like a powerful light, capable of temporarily blinding enemy targets. At close range, however, it proved capable of disrupting eye fields, temporarily neutralizing beam weaponry. With these changes finalized, Zimmad moved the suit into full-scale production, officially designating as the MS-09 Dom. The Dom's battlefield performance was nearly unmatched. Jims, and even the elusive White Devil, struggled against it, particularly when faced with multiple units. Its high speed made it difficult to hit, and even when struck, its thick armor could withstand considerable punishment. Given the Dom's superior performance over the Zaku, Zeon became interested in adapting it for space combat to replace the MS-06F Zaku 2 as its primary frontline unit. As before, Zionic was instructed to donate a Zaku to Zimmad to begin development. This particular unit was modified into the MS-06RD4 Zaku High Mobility Test Type. Zimmad removed the lower half of the Zaku and replaced it with modified Dom legs fitted with an ambak system, enabling space maneuverability. Testing confirmed that the Dom's thrusters functioned efficiently in zero gravity. Zimmad conducted extensive trials, gathering all necessary data to fully adapt the Dom for space use. Unfortunately, the prototype was lost during a combat test, but by then, Zimmad had acquired enough data to proceed with development. The project continued using the earlier MS-07C5 Goof test prototype, now redesigned as the YMS-08B Dom test type. This iteration was modified to closely resemble the production Dom model, likely to facilitate parts compatibility and streamline mass production if approved. Zimmad also used this phase of development to further experiment with beam weaponry, leading to the creation of the XT-2 beam bazooka. While promising, the weapon suffered from frequent explosions due to the limitations of Zeon's beam technology at the time, preventing it from entering mass production. Additional refinements were made to improve their armor layout and accommodate extra thrusters. These changes include a larger backpack and a redesigned rear skirt for better protection. Within 2 months, the design was finalized, and Zimmad presented the MS-09R Rig Dom. The new designation incorporated the Rig prefix to distinguish it as a space variant. This naming convention would later be used for future models derived from the Dom. By all accounts, Xeon was winning the war. They had the numbers and the technology to completely outclass anything the Federation could field. Even with the introduction of Jim's, mobile suits like the Dom easily countered them. However, the emergence of the White Devil, along with other Gundam variants, changed everything. The next generation of Jims being directly based on these Gundams, Xeon was suddenly pushed back, ultimately forcing them to withdraw from Earth. On a technical level, the Dom could arguably hold its own against the RG-M79 Jim, but the Federation's adoption of the titanium alloy armor and beam weaponry completely shifted the battlefield dynamics. Previously, the Dom could easily destroy early Jims with a single shot and withstand significant damage. Now, its only true advantage was speed, and on a strategic scale, that alone wasn't enough. During this period of retreat, Xeon initiated full-scale implementation of the United Maintenance Plan, and Zimmad was tasked with developing a new Dom variant based on its specifications. Engineers quickly got to work using a Dom Troppen, a ground combat variant of the Dom, as the prototype for the new suit. With ground warfare no longer a priority, existing Troppens were considered obsolete, allowing them to be repurposed as testbeds for the next generation design. These units were modified for space combat, and intensive testing began immediately. Before long, Zimmad finalized the design for the next generation Dom, the MS-09R2 Rig Dom Zwei. The Zwei featured a titanium alloy ceramic composite armor composition, the new UMP standard. Its armor was less aerodynamic than its predecessor, but this wasn't a concern since it was designed primarily for space. Had the war unfolded differently, Zimmad might have developed a ground combat variant, but for the time being, space superiority was the priority. That said, with certain modifications, the Zwei could still operate in the atmosphere. The less aerodynamic design also freed up internal space, allowing the suit to accommodate a larger engine and additional thrusters, further enhancing its already exceptional mobility. This new engine also enabled the chest-mounted scatter beam cannon to function as an actual weapon, allowing it to fire a small beam. Zimmad also developed a new giant bazooka, redesigned to fire more powerful rockets, and a large heat saber capable of slicing a warship in half. Additionally, the Rig Dom Zwei was designed to carry external propellant tanks to extend its operational time in space. However, like all UMP suits, the Rig Dom Zwei was introduced too late and in too few numbers to change the course of the war. Only ACES, Special Forces units, and newly established squadrons received the upgraded model before the war's end. Like every other Xeon-affiliated company, Zimmad was eventually absorbed into Anaheim Electronics. Rebranded as AE Zim, Zimmad arguably fared better than its counterparts, retaining some degree of independence. Zionic was fully absorbed, while MIP, though independent for a time, was later merged into an Anaheim division. Under Anaheim, Zimmad was assigned to rocket weaponry development. Having pioneered weapons such as the Giant Bazooka and later Rakuten Bazooka, Zimmad became the leading force in this field. Their expertise continued to shape future weapon designs, including the Clay Bazooka and the infamous GPO-2 Atomic Bazooka. For nearly a decade, Zimmad seemed absent in the mobile suit industry. But that changed when the Anti-Earth Union Group, AUG, struck a deal with Anaheim under Project Zeta, commissioning new mobile suit designs. The earliest suit from this program was heavily influenced by Zimmad's legacy. The Rig Diaz was developed using data from modified Dowas, the final model in the MS-09 Dom lineage. Not only did it share a similar name convention, but its physical design also bore strong resemblance to the classic Dom. Meanwhile, Xeon engineers who had escaped to Axis continued developing a direct successor of the Dom, the AMX-009 Dryson. And that is the Dom. The best Xeon suit. You can fight me on that, no. I mean, I guess Gelgoog is probably like the best, but no. The Dom. Dom is best. It looks cool. It has a cool name. Dom. You know, that's the guy who does the fucking... And it uses a big gun that can one-shot things. It's a cool suit. I like it. I used to look at a Dom weirdly, but now that... It's cool, right? It's a cool look. It's probably the best looking suit. Is it the best looking Xeon suit? I think it is. Maybe not. I think the free's kind of there. I don't know. I just like how it looks. It just looks cool, and the idea of like a heavily armored but fast boy. It's just a moi combination, you know. But that's that video. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like the video, please consider clicking that button down there, the like button. If you'd like to see more videos in the future, then please consider joining the Jupiter fleet by clicking the sub button down there. Please, we must increase our numbers, so then we can invade Earth with no problems. You can join the cemetery known as my Discord. It's right there, the link there. You can click that, right? You can click that and just inflate the numbers and just stay there and just watch me post memes once in a while while everybody else to stay quiet. Why does no one talk over there? But other than that, I stream games here and on Twitch, so you got choices. You know, if you like Twitch stuff, you can go to Twitch. Like if you just like everything to be in one place, then just stay here on YouTube. I kind of like that too, but I've already committed to doing both, so I'm doing both. But yeah, that's been that. That's been me. Until the next briefing, pilots, we need to study all Earth military powers. They're all the Earth technologies, so that when we attack, when we come to Earth, we will win. Until then, pilots, keep serving the Jupiter fleet, the Jupiter colony. Do not die. And I'll see you then. On next time, next briefing. See ya. Bye-bye.